All right, good evening, everybody. So, just a quick question before I start this particular topic. Everybody pretty familiar with the pace chart?
Yep.
At this point? Once you've pinpointed the training zone that you're in, there's a wide range of paces that you can get benefits from running. But the majority of running that you should be doing, and the benefit that we're primarily looking for, is in the blue area between jog and top distance pace. And I'm going to kind of explain that tonight. Unfortunately, I know runners that spend no time in that zone at all. All their running is faster than the top pace that they're supposed to be running most of the time. So the principle 2 is aerobic development is the driver of improvement in distance running performance. Okay, what that basically means is the bigger your aerobic engine, the better that you will perform. And I'm not a mechanical guy, so if you got into any details about car engines, you would lose me really fast. But I know enough to know that a 6-cylinder has more horsepower than a 4-cylinder. 8 horsepower has more horsepower than a 6-cylinder. Most of us, in terms of our aerobic development, we're not even at a 4-cylinder yet. We're probably somewhere around an ATV or a lawnmower, right? So, regardless of how well you tune your engine, you're not going to outperform someone with a bigger aerobic engine. The way we tune our aerobic engine is through the quality workouts that we do and the pace work. So tonight, we'll be working on tuning, but it's a very small segment of the running that you're doing. And to build an aerobic engine, you need to spend a lot of time running at a pretty easy pace. What we're talking about in terms of developing aerobically is running at between 60-65% effort, okay? And I want to sort of describe the benefits that you get when you run at that effort level. Because what we're doing when we train is we're changing ourselves from the inside out. We're changing ourselves on a cellular level. So the first benefit that you get running at those easy paces is you improve the strength of your heartbeat. Okay, as you exert more effort on a run or any activity, your heart beats harder and faster. And as you continue to work harder, your heartbeat continues to accelerate till it gets at its maximum. But once you get to about 60% effort, your heart is beating as hard as it's ever going to beat. In other words, the stroke volume is as hard as it will get. So by running for long periods of time at 60% effort, you get a huge benefit just in the fact that your heart muscle is getting stronger, which means it can pump more blood through your system with each stroke. Other benefits. You develop capillary density. What that means is the blood vessels that deliver energy and oxygen to the cells that are working, the amount of capillaries increases and the size. So you get more blood flow into the working muscles. You develop a cell in the muscle called mitochondria, which is the cell that turns an energy supply into energy. Those cells get bigger and you get more of them. And here's one of the keys. you build durability as a runner. In other words, you get more durable, you don't get more beat up. When you run faster and harder, you hit your musculoskeletal system harder. Your connective tissue has to work harder. Okay, so, but by running at the easier paces, you're actually building durability. So you're less likely to get injured. So all those benefits happen based on time spent running, not speed. It's a very hard message for me to get people to buy into. And so often people look at their training zone and they look at the pace that they're supposed to be running on easy days, and they think it's too slow because they've never gotten used to what easy running should feel like. Okay? You should be able to hold a conversation most of the time when you're running. All right? So, some other really important benefits. Tonight we're going to work hard, right? We're going to do a quality workout. If you come back and do a run tomorrow, which many of you will, if you run too hard, not only are you more likely to get injured again because you just worked hard tonight, you're more likely to interrupt the body's ability to adapt to the work we did tonight. However, by running easy tomorrow or at your recovery paces, you can continue to get all those benefits I just described to you without interfering with the benefits that we're trying to gain tonight and without increasing your risk of injury. Okay? So active recovery is a really good thing. And finally, you can increase the volume of running that you do much more safely when you run at the appropriate pace. All of you have, at this point, have selected a training plan, right? If you happen to be increasing the miles that you're used to doing, if you run those miles too hard, guess what? Your risk of injury is going to go up. But if you do them at the appropriate pace, you're more likely to be able to transition and adapt to the higher volume. Any questions on any of that?
Is there a better time for us to run tomorrow if we're going to run at our recovery pace? Should we wait 24 hours, or is it okay to run in the morning?
So the question for those of you at home is there a better time to run? Tomorrow after the hard workout, are you supposed to run in the morning, in the afternoon? In general, run when you typically run, as long as you sort of follow these guidelines. I listened to a podcast where a coach uses the phrase motion is lotion, meaning that being active and moving is good for the body, not bad. So you're actually helping your body recover when you're in motion, because you're making your muscles limber, you're getting good blood flow into the muscles that are recovering. So as long as you practice this principle, it doesn't really matter if you go early or not. Okay, I recommend starting really tomorrow's run, regardless of when you do it, start even more slowly than I'm describing. If you look at the paces on the pace chart, you kind of should hit every one of those zones. Start out at a jog, move to recovery, and then to easy. Don't go right to easy pace or distance pace. Kind of ease into it and let your body accept the activity. Other questions?
If I run slow most of the time, how do I know I'll be able to run fast enough on race day?
So that's one of the most frequent questions I get, which is if I train slow, how can I race fast? The answer to that is twofold. One, because you're developing an aerobic engine, right? With all those things, now you have a heart that can pump more blood. You have more capillaries that can deliver blood to your cells. You have more ability to convert energy and use it. And because when we work, we tune that engine. So you're doing some running faster, which means that we're tuning the engine that you're developing for performance. The second part of that is trust, is believing it, right? You have to trust the process. You have to believe that if you follow the process, the results will be there, on race day. And typically the best way for that to happen is through experience, right? Trusting the process long enough that you can experience it, so that when you come back to the process again, you know it works. Other questions?
And aren't there some VO2 max training days that we do in quality runs?
Yeah, so one of the other principles has to do with tuning the engine, which is the quality workouts that we do. And when we're tuning the engine, we tune it in all kinds of different ways. That's why on the pace chart, you see marathon pace and half marathon pace and lactic threshold pace and 10K pace and 5K pace and VO2 max pace and economy pace, because we're gonna target a response, a training stimulus at all kinds of different paces. One of them is VO2 max. But we develop those kinds of training responses, or those kind of training responses happen much more quickly with much less work. Developing your aerobic engine takes time. Meb Keflezighi ran his best race at the age of 38 after how many years of running? Right, Dina Castor, who I talked about a couple weeks ago, didn't win her first marathon until she was 32 years old, after over 20 years of aerobic development. Aerobic development happens slowly, which is why we have to spend so much time on it. Aerobic strength, which is through the quality work, happens much more quickly.